is up back here with another YouTube video, and in case you cannot tell by the title below, this video will be a video where I share my honest thoughts, experience on meeting somebody in this wacky, weird wrestling world. As you can tell by the title below, this one will be a video where I just share my experience meeting Maria Kanellis Bennett. For the sake of this video, Maria, she was the first well-known person that I met as a wrestling fan. And yeah, before I forget, gonna show you the autograph that I got signed. So this was the not photo, but like an 8x10. Since got it laminated, which for me, thankful. But yeah, WrestleMania 24 Fan Access Tour, Maria, and she signed it right there back in February of 2008. So like I said, Maria was the first wrestler that I met, or first well-known person, wrestling or not, that I met back on February 3rd of 2008, day before I turned 14 years old. And I remember it clearly, as weird as it might be. It was a Sunday, and for those who don't know, the Fan Access Tour was pretty much what the WrestleMania Access was or is, but like a different city every weekend. In this case, it was going to be in Vaughan, Ontario, which is just north of Toronto. It's where Canada's Wonderland is, part of the Greater Toronto Area. And it was going to be the only one in Canada, the only stop from Royal Rumble weekend until WrestleMania weekend, and I don't know for sure if they had anything in Orlando, but like I said, it was day before I turned 14, and I first heard, or there was advertisement during WWE programming like December, and I told my parents, like, hey, like, I want to do this for my birthday. Like, Santino was the Saturday, Maria was the Sunday, and I'm like, I want to do both. And they're like, no, you can only do one. Ended up doing Maria because I think it was better weather driving there and back for it, because I never been to any form of an autograph signing. Technically went to 2 wrestling events. One of them was WWE the spring before, and I had no idea what like to do, how early to show up. I think the autograph signing, I could be like wrong, but 2 to 4 p.m. Got there at 10. Line started at like 6:30 in the morning, and it was the first like 300 people got, or first 250 got wristbands, and then another 50 got wristbands throughout the like day, late morning, early afternoon. And it's pretty much what you, like I said, Access is years later, but in a shopping mall. And there was this guy with a stage set up, and this was at like probably 12:30, couple of hours after I got there, and they asked, I was close to the front because I was a wrestling geek, not a wrestling nerd, because they're smart, and they asked, hey, is anybody here a CM Punk fan? And myself, wearing a CM Punk shirt, immediately rose my hand, and I was a tall kid for a 14-year-old, or pretty much 14-year-old, and they said, person with the blue hat, come up come up to the stage. And I'm like all confident, like a 14-year-old would be, and then I got up on the stage and I looked out, and it was probably 1,000 people there, and I immediately got like stage fright, which I think I'm better now than I was back then, or at least I think so, but again, still kind of get that weak knees locked into place kind of deal. And it was myself and 2 other people, and the other person, or like the host, asked the other 2 people questions. They got wristbands or a WWE video game, whichever one just came out at that point for the Nintendo Wii. And the guy said, the host said, you're a CM Punk fan, right? And I said yes, and he asked, do you watch WWECW? And I'm like, yes. At that time, I kind of was watching, and they're like, okay, if you answer this question, you get a Hillbilly Jim autograph and a wristband, guaranteed Hillbilly Jim autograph, and either the WWE video game or a wristband to meet Maria. I'm like, okay. and they asked who was the teacher on WWE CW, and I'm like, Matt Stryker. Like he said that teacher, and I'm like, Matt Stryker. And he's like, let me finish. And then he finished it, said again, Matt Stryker, and he's like, here's the Hillbilly Jim autograph. I guess he was there earlier or something, or maybe the day before, had leftover autographs. And they asked, which one do you want, the game or the meet and greet wristband? And I'm like, the wristband, 100%. Like, that's why I'm here. Gave me the wristband, whatnot. I immediately got my mom to put it on because I, at 14, could not legally drive in the province of Ontario. So I kind of dragged her and another family member to Toronto for it. Immediately put the wristband on and stood in line for like that. It was like probably 2.5 hours by the time I got there. And what I mean by got there is got to the front of the line. I should have cleared that up. And I was like, okay, yeah, like I'm meeting Maria. I'm going to ask her this question. I'm going to make that comment, kind of do whatever was relevant for her at that time. Probably something to do with the Royal Rumble because it was the weekend before was the Rumble. And once it was kind of my turn to kind of go up on stage, again, I don't know for sure if it's stage fright or starstruck, whichever wording you would want to use. Immediately, once I kind of got back up on stage, nervous, and Maria asked, hey, what's your name? And I'm like, Amanda. And I almost, in my freaking being born blonde, I almost asked her what her name was, but again, it's Maria. And did not ask her any questions. I, again, was wearing a CM Punk t-shirt, and I think she kind of noticed or picked up on the fact that, like, hey, I'm starstruck, nervous, whatever the wording you would want to use towards it, and she's like, oh, nice shirt. And I not yanked, but I pulled out my shirt to kind of see which one I was wearing. I'm like, oh yeah, thanks. He's one of my favorites. And at that time, I wasn't reading anything really online outside of advertisements during commercials and WWE.com. So I had no idea that they were dating. And she signed the video that I showed earlier. And I almost left right after she handed me that photo, or like the autograph. And my mom, thank goodness for her, she stopped me, and she's like, hey, do you mind if we get a photo? Kind of deal. Mind you, this was 2008, before like cameras became like really good, hence the not so good video or photo quality for it. And took the photo. She stood up for it, leaned over, took a photo, and I'm like, thank you. My mom, family member of mine that also again tagged along, said thank you, have a good day. And then I left, and I looked at it. I looked at my mom, looked at the photo, and it's like, holy sugar honey iced tea. Told her repeatedly, don't delete that, like because at that time I figured I would never be able to meet another wrestler. Very fortunate enough to be able to do so. And all of that fun stuff. But yeah, that was the first time I met Maria. On to the second time I met her. So this is the 8x10 that I got signed back on May of 2013, a part of a Ring of Honor event, again, in Toronto. So the second and so far final time that I have met Maria was back in May of 2013, a part of a Ring of Honor event in Toronto, not New Japan, just strictly ROH. And for those who don't know, Ring of Honor from 2012, 2013, at least November of 2018, had a pre-show meet and greet where you pay X amount of money to meet certain wrestlers. In this case, everybody that was a part of the pre-show meet and greet was $10 a piece. $10 for a photo, $10 for an autograph, and then 15 for a combo. And I don't have a photo with her. I took it. I think ended up blurry. Only paid $10 for it though. So $10 for the autograph, not bad. And whatnot for myself personally. And I bought her meet and greet, and I bought Paul London's meet and greet. And originally I was in Maria's line, seen that Paul London didn't have a line, went over, met him, went back in line for Maria, and she wasn't really in for myself personally, when I met her that day, was not in too much of a talkative mood, just based off my interaction. I don't know for sure if it was something going on in her private life, bad travel day, bad weather. Well, I think it was for somebody who's used to living in Southern Ontario, it was decent weather-wise. And whatnot, who knows, for her, again, there could be other stuff going on, but wasn't too talkative. I told her that I met her like 5 years prior, and while she was signing, told her that I met her 5 years prior, and because of the interaction with her, made me want to meet more wrestlers, and I just wanted to say thank you face to face. And she's like, oh, no problem, thanks for coming out, kind of deal. And I wasn't expecting like a full-on essay response, but like she said it in that kind of tone, like a not necessarily that she had better stuff to do, but she had other stuff going on, and I was a little bit disappointed. Like I said, I did have a photo with her, turned out blurry, and I probably could have went back in line, got another photo with her, but wasn't in the mood. She seemed like she wasn't in the mood for it, which bummed me out, and that was so far the last time that I met Maria. And like I said just now, myself meeting her back in February of 2008 led to this crazy world of myself wanting to meet more wrestlers and more interactions. Honestly, wanted to go to more shows to meet wrestlers and whatnot. So even though I personally was starstruck the first time around, she wasn't too talkative. The second time around, still grateful for both experiences and all of that fun stuff. But yeah, that is it for this one. Feel free to hit the like, subscribe, turn on post notification. Of course, you don't have to if you don't want to, but it would mean a lot to myself if you did. More importantly, hope you guys are doing okay mentally, emotionally, and physically.
The world that we tend to make up is nothing but a fantasy until you wake up. I feel like I'm just lying to myself, yeah. Cause I just crossed the line like I'm playing offside. Do it how I want and I'ma do it till I die. Feel like I'm just lying to myself, but it's